Hello folks, so in this one we're looking at the best used SUVs you can get for under 15 grand in the UK right now. Now with a couple of caveats, so these are all ULEZ compliant and they are all under 80,000 miles. As usual, I'm looking at Auto Trader for these, but I'm not endorsing any of the particular cars you see in it. I'm talking more generally about the model and what kind of value for money you can get. And we're using these examples, but that's not to say that any of these cars or what they appear to be. And as always, do a proper history check. Don't believe what you see on Auto Trader or in the seller's description. Okay, so we're going to start off with one of the older cars in this video, but it's a good one. It's the Lexus RX 450h, a 2010 model, and it's 3.5 litre V6 mated to some mild hybrid technology. Four-wheel drive this one. This particular one's got 71,000 miles on the clock. Car wants for nothing's a dream to drive. Full service history, 12 months MOT. So tax on this is only 160 quid a year, which for such a big car, especially one with a 3.5 litre V6 in it, it's pretty decent, 160 quid. 44.8 combined MPG is claimed. And then performance-wise, you're looking at 7.8 seconds to 60. So it's not hanging about either, is it? They're possibly showing their age ever so slightly. Certainly still looks a premium car. They've blacked the wheels on this, which I think knocks a few years off a car sometimes. So there we go. Not bad looking car, is it? Nice and roomy cabin, luxurious, a little bit understated as you would expect from Lexus. Not too much to dislike in there really. Apart from this thing, if you're fussy about an infotainment system, you might want to look into the possibility of upgrading what's in there. It's not amazing. Huge boot, brilliant, love it. Good one to get us started. Next, a bit newer. This is a 2015 Volvo XC60. Now, the XC60 sits in between the SUV range at Volvo. Not as fun as an XC40, not as spacious as an XC90. It's basically a big estate car on stilts, if you like. It doesn't sit quite as high as some SUVs, and certainly looks a bit more like a jacked up estate car than some. And there is a newer XC60 out, which they improve the styling quite a lot on that one. But there's nothing wrong with this one. So this one's 14 grand. It's the D4 SE model, 2015, as I said, 80,000 miles on the clock, full service history, MOT due in September. Now, if you're spending this kind of money with a car dealer, and the car's got less than 6 months on it or 7 months on it, ask them to stick a new MOT on it. That does two things. A, it gets you a new MOT, but B, if you insist on that being an advisory-free MOT, if there are any advisories that come up, they get dealt with at the time you purchase the car. To be fair, the dealer's protecting their own back as well, because it shows at the time they handed the car to you that there was no known faults with it. So it sort of protects them for Consumer Credit Act stuff and going forward as well. But yeah, certainly if I was spending 14 grand on a 2015 car, I'd want 12 months advisory free MOT on that. So I would rather have that than them knock 500 quid off the price. So this one's 30 quid a year on road tax. I can say now it's the only SUV on this list with 30 quid a year road tax and a combined MPG of 62.8. That's bananas, isn't it? And it's ULEZ compliant. Win-win-win. 0 to 60, 7.6 seconds. Again, that's not too shabby at all. That's a really good car, that one's going to make sense to a lot of people. 2018 Hyundai Tucson. I think this is the newest car we've got on here. We've got one other, I think 2018 on this list. Obviously, exterior styling, it looks more modern than some of the others on here because it is. Interior on the Hyundais is very functional, perfectly good, a little bit boring. Big boot, needs a clean, but massive boot on it. Okay, looks all right so far. Obviously, if you're selling a 2018 car, you're going to put quite a detailed description. So let's have a look at that. Oh, white, one owner, 14 grand. That's not massively helpful, is it? So we don't know anything about service history. It's got 30,000 miles on the clock, but if there's no service history, you can forget about that. The mileage on all these cars makes a massive difference in price. With any of them we're looking at, if you go up in the mileage, if you go over the 100,000, there are examples around for a good couple of grand less. Likewise, if the mileage is really low, the price is higher. So you really need to investigate these things. And you know, if I rang that one and they said no service history, bosh, down goes the phone, move on to the next. Right, let's consider this has got service history. 155 quid annual road tax and 44.8 combined MPG, not bad at all. And then you're looking at 11.5 seconds to 60, so it's not very quick, but there you go. It's not everything to everyone, is it? 2017 Toyota RAV4, obviously famed for their reliability, these cars. This is a 2-litre diesel. If you want one with the 2.5-litre hybrids, they are a bit more expensive, or you're going to get one with much higher mileage. So this one's £14,198, 72,800 miles on the clock. We go one keeper service history, so it doesn't say full service history. So again, interrogate that. Look at your MOT histories as well. 9.6 seconds to 60 on this one, and 155 quid a year road tax, combined MPG of 60. Bananas. Bomb-proof cars, really. I quite like the look of these RAV4s. Quite a nice interior. It's going to be very durable, as you can imagine. Sat-nav as standard. That's all right. I don't mind that one. 2011 Audi Q5. This one's the TFSI, so that's the petrol, and it's the S-Line S-Tronic Quattro. Quattro being the all-wheel drive system. That can go wrong. So you really want to give that a run through its paces if you're test driving this kind of thing. And particularly, you know, a 10, 11-year-old car that's laden with a bit of tech, you really want to put it through its paces and ideally get it checked over by an independent person as well. 52,000 miles on the clock on this one. It says it's warranted mileage with a full service history. High spec, electric tailgate, full screen colour sat nav, reversing camera, blah, blah, blah. Running cost 315 quid a year on tax and combined 33.2 MPG. The Q5, if you get a good one and it's been well looked after and well serviced, can be a nice reliable car for you. They're very nice to drive, very nice indeed actually. And there's just quality in everything about them. You'll get a nice thud with the door. When you sit in that cabin, although the interior looks a little bit tired compared to like modern Audis, the quality of it is far better than in modern Audis. Everything's extremely well screwed together and well designed. 0-60 on that one, 7.2 seconds. And as you can see, cavernous boot in those things. Absolutely cavernous. I've done a deal with VCheck, who I think are one of the premier providers of online car history checks. As you can see here on this quick sample report, you can check the registered VIN number against the one that's actually on the vehicle. You can see the current MOT and road tax status. Has the car ever been stolen? Is there outstanding finance? Has it been an insurance write-off? If so, what kind? If it has been, can you see photos of the car before the damage was repaired? You know, you might see this car now and it's in perfect condition, but does seeing these images of it at the time of the accident make you change your mind possibly? Has it been a taxi? Number of previous keepers and the dates for those, number plate changes, mileage records. This is great because you can see any discrepancies in the mileage in a really easy to follow way. So if it done 50,000 one year, 40 the next, you know there's a problem. You've also got the MOT history checks all built into this one single report, and it'll give you a basic car valuation. The bundles start from £1.60 a check, but I would all strongly recommend you go for the full check. Now I've done a deal with VCheck. They do pay me if you use my link, so please do that because it helps support the channel. And I have to tell you that this is a completely unbiased recommendation. You should never buy a used car without running these kind of checks, and this is a fantastic one. Please use the link in the video description and help support the channel. Next we go on to a 2012 BMW X3. This is the 2-litre diesel, Blue Performance SE Auto X-Drive. So again, it's got an all-wheel drive system, so you want to make sure everything's hunky-dory with that. But also it's the 2-litre diesel. Now these things can go on for a long time and do really good mileage, and they make a lot of sense in terms of performance and running cost, all that kind of stuff. They must be serviced properly, and that cannot be overlooked. So this engine's in loads of BMW cars, 320D, 520D, 120D. They can be very, very good, but you must make sure it's serviced properly and has been serviced properly. So running costs, 170 quid a year on the road tax and combined 50 mpg, which for a big car like this is very impressive. And then performance, 0 to 60, 8.5 seconds. I think everyone knows what an X3 looks like. They're a good looking SUV. Nice cabin, although as with some of these, it is showing its age a little bit compared to some of its rivals nowadays. Only 64,000 miles on this one. This one is a private seller. Full BMW service history with last service carried out at 59,000 miles. It's done 64. To me, if I were in the market for an X3, that'd be one I'd be interested in having a look at for sure. 2017 Mazda CX5. I've got hands-on experience with CX5. I had one of the first ones in 2013, I think, and I did about 70,000 miles in that car, somewhere around that. And it was brilliant. The only time it conked out really was when I filled my diesel car up with petrol after not enough sleep. So there you go, clever old me, eh? Very nice cabins. You're not going to get the quality of plastics in here that you would get in some of the more premium rivals, but really everything's where it should be. Everything's really simple and intuitive to use. Sat-nav could be a little bit better, but that's often the case on even brand new cars. Boots are really good size and shape in this, so it's super easy to get stuff in and out. We had a baby at the time I had this, and it was so easy to get like massive pushchairs in and out of things of this car. It was a joy at the time. Really, really nice to drive as well. And yeah, I really don't have a bad word to say about the things. This one's a 2.2 litre diesel. And running costs on that, 30 quid a year for the road tax again, 61.4 mpg, and you're looking at 9.2 seconds to 60. This is one of those ridiculously annoying adverts where they tell you nothing about the car and instead just tell you how wonderful Arnold Clark are. Not helpful, thanks guys. 37,500 miles on this one as well, so it's quite good mileage. So that's one I'll be interested in looking at, but it must have full service history. Very, very important, especially with diesels. You want to make sure that oil's been changed regularly. 2018 Honda CR-V. This again is a diesel. It's the 1.6 diesel and it's the SE Plus Navi. Now, this 1.6 diesel, although not super exciting in terms of performance at 11.2 seconds to 60, where it does trump some of its rivals is on the running cost. 155 quid a year on tax. Obviously, we've seen a couple here on 30 quid. 64.2 mpg. And the CR-V is a big old car, isn't it? This one looks fairly well appointed. And there you go, nice enough place to be. A bit like the Mazda and the Toyota. Honda interiors are just good, well put together, generally fairly rugged, but they're not that exciting. But CR-V is a massively popular car, and if you drive one and you spend some time with one, you can see why a lot of people like them. A massive boot as well. I'll be having one of these for review before too long, so keep your eyes peeled for that, albeit the new model, obviously. 2009 Porsche Cayenne. Now this is one for people that the speed and the style and everything else is the most important thing, because the running costs of it are horrendous. So I'll touch on that now and we'll get over it fairly quickly. This is obviously for a particular kind of buyer and not for everyone. But 600 quid a year road tax, combined 20 mpg, and your servicing costs are something else to bear in mind. They're going to be gargantuan on this if you go to Porsche. Even with a Porsche specialist, it's not going to be cheap to keep one of these things on the road. 4.8 GTS Tiptronic S all-wheel drive. So this is right up there in terms of their offering. 0 to 60 on this one of 6 seconds, and it's a big old car, isn't it? 405 horsepower. They're handsome devils, I think. There you go, ginormous boot. Very nice, very Porsche interior. Got the automatic gearbox in this one, the Tiptronic. Private seller, that one. Again, service history is absolutely everything on these things. It says you've got full service history. You obviously want to have a good look at that and make sure everything's been done when it should have been, and really make sure everything's mechanically sound. And then with these kind of cars, and with the next one I'm going to show you, you need to ensure you've got a big chunk of change just to keep the thing running. If I'm buying that car for 15 grand, I want to have at least 5 grand put away in a kitty for when something goes wrong. Things are expensive to repair on cars like this. And although you can buy one of these things nowadays for what seems like a fairly attainable budget, you must have money put aside to keep the thing going. Right, finally, we've got 2006 Land Rover Range Rover Sport. This is the 4.2 V8 supercharged HSE. So HSE is right up there in trim level. And the 4.2 V8 supercharged, it has to be ULEZ. And you're not going to get anything other than something like this that's ULEZ for this sort of budget. 600 quid a year on tax and 17 mpg combined is claimed. You're going to get about 10 out of that in the real world. And these things break down for fun. You know, if you get it through the test drive without an engine light coming on or something failing, then you've done well. But what you do need to do if you're seriously considering one of these, I wouldn't, right? But people do love these things. So if you're going to buy any kind of Jaguar Land Rover product really, but especially a Range Rover or a Discovery or anything like that, you need to check absolutely everything on it before you buy it. And that means every electric window, checking the parking sensors, slamming the brakes on hard and making sure the ABS works properly without a light popping on. You need to check everything because anything that goes wrong on it costs a lot of money. But think what this would have cost new. You know, it would have been serious coin. You can get one for 7.5 grand. I would want at least that much put away for when something goes wrong. And of course, it's going to cost you God knows how much to keep this thing just running in terms of petrol and your road tax and all that kind of good stuff. So it is for a certain kind of person with a certain kind of budget. Do bear in mind that things do go wrong with them. Guys, if you've enjoyed any part of this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. We have a ton of car content on this channel and lots of other videos like this. So join the party.